Alright, this is kind of a crazy section. It's about complex fractions. And really what it is, it means fractions within fractions. Okay? So we're going to start off with this example. I'm going to show you two different ways for doing this guy. And then for the rest of the problems, it's all a matter of you choosing what you think is the best way for solving them. So you see that we have one big fraction, but within that we have smaller fractions. You have to make sure that you write things correctly and you know where your fractions are. Now, one way of working this is to do this guy right here, combine that as a single fraction, and then you combine that as a single fraction. Okay, this is one of the first methods we have for simplifying these. Okay, so if I were to look in just the numerator, you see this is 4 over 1. What's the common denominator for that? 5. So you know you put in, you've got a common factor, or you're missing the factor of 5. Okay, so in this numerator, my common denominator is 5, and I would have 7 from the first guy because he was already over 5, plus 20. Do you all agree? And I'm going to go ahead and just continue this guy over here. And so altogether I would have 27 over 5. Is everybody with me so far? I'm just looking at the top half of this problem. Okay. Now let's go on to the second half, to the bottom here. We can look at this guy as 7 over 1. What's the common denominator in the bottom part of this fraction? Okay. So this guy's missing a factor of 10, so just like this. So in this denominator, there's the common denominator of 10. What's going to be in that numerator? 70 minus 7, and what does that give me over here?
63.
It gives me 63 over 10. Now, am I done here? No, because what this really means for me is that I have 27/5 divided by 63 over 10. Isn't that what that means? And how do you divide a fraction by a fraction? You multiply times the reciprocal. So this is times 10 over 63. And we need to reduce this before we multiply, make our lives easy. How can I reduce this without a calculator? 5 and 10 can reduce to become what? 1 and 2. Is there anything else that can reduce before I go on? 27 and 63 have a common factor of what?
3.
I can do better than that. Common factor of 9. Right? So 9 goes in here how many times?
3.
Oops. 3. And 9 goes in here 7 times. So what do we have for our final answer?
3 times 2 over 7.
So that's just equal to 6 over 7. Okay. Now that's one way of doing this problem. And I'll show you another way. Now when I show you another way, I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, or that this is the best way. I'm just showing you a different way for working the same problem. The first way that we worked this problem, we looked at simplifying the numerator and then simplifying the denominator. I want to look at this problem now as one whole piece, as one complete problem. And when I do that, I want to find the LCD, because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clear out my fractions. I'm going to clear out my denominators. What is the LCD for the whole thing that I have here?
Okay.
10. So really what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to multiply the top by 10 and multiply the bottom by 10. Now why is this okay for me to do? Why is it okay for me to do this? What do you see that I have here in orange? What is 10 over 10?
1.
Is it okay to multiply things times 1?
Yes.
Yes. You did the same thing up here. Look at this. You had 5 over 5, that was 1, and 10 over 10 was equal to 1 too. So here I'm multiplying the whole top by 10 and the whole bottom by 10. And now it's just a matter of distributing. So look in this numerator right here. If I do 10 times 7 over 5, what's going to happen? The 5 would reduce. 5 would go in here twice, right? So 2 times 7 is 14. But then you do 10 times 4, and that's going to be 40, right? Because there was no denominator here to reduce with the 10. Look down here in this denominator. What's 10 times 7? Minus, what happens when I do 10 times 7 over 10? Wouldn't the 10 reduce completely?
You just use this.
You just have 7, right? So what does that give me? That's 54 over 63. How does that reduce? Oh, excuse me, sorry. These guys can reduce by 9, right? 9 over 9? So what do I get? 6 over 7. The same answer, just a different way of working the problem. Questions?